Hey, how's it going? My name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a very exciting book haul. And not just a book haul, but also a Kindle unboxing, because I finally decided to go ahead and get a Kindle after all these years. I've actually never had a Kindle in like the 10 plus years that I've been a reader, but I just decided to finally go for it because I've been talking about getting a Kindle for like 2+ years now, and they had a decent sale going on Black Friday on some of the newer Kindles. So stick around for the end of this video where I will be doing a Kindle unboxing and then also kind of talking about what I've downloaded so far on Kindle Unlimited. But first, let's jump into the book haul because we have so many things to get through. The first books I wanted to show you for this book haul today came from Book of the Month, who is also so kindly sponsoring today's video. Because if you haven't yet heard about Book of the Month and you're an avid reader, then I think you should absolutely know about them. Because Book of the Month is a book subscription service where every month readers get to choose between 5 to 7 picks every single month. And Book of the Month's mission is to bring the best new fiction forward. So every month when there's hundreds of new releases coming out, their team goes through all of them and they pick the top few that they think readers will be the most interested in reading. And then you get to go through every single month and make your selection of which book you want to be your book of the month. I look forward to it every single month because almost all of the times they have some of my most anticipated books of the year as a selection. Then also they also have books that I've never even heard of. And I feel like I'm always discovering new books because of Book of the Month as well. I love that they always have picks across a wide variety of genres, so there really is something for everyone, and that they have the best prices for new hardcover fiction books, because this month when you sign up with the code TINSEL, you can get your first book for just $5. There really is no cheaper place to get new hardcover fiction books. One of the ones I picked up this month is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. This one is described as Knives Out, but the rom-com version, and like you don't know how badly I need that in my life. It sounds very festive and very fun, so I can't wait to get to it. And then I also decided to add on I Might Be in Trouble, because this one sounds like it's gonna be right up my alley. I really do love books that follow writers, and I love that Book of the Month has so many amazing add-ons every single month. Like I'm always tempted to add in more books into my box because a lot of their add-ons are also some of my most anticipated books. But definitely be sure to check out Book of the Month. I will have the link down in the description if you want to go and check them out and use that code to get your first book for just $5. I can't believe they're still doing that deal, so definitely take advantage of it while it's still there. And thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. And now let's get into even more books. One book that I'm so freaking excited about that Flatiron Books actually sent me an ARC copy of is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I'm so stoked that they ended up sending this to me because I reached out to them in an email and I was like, hey, can you please send me an ARC copy because I'm so excited. Alice Feeney is one of my favorite authors, and this is her latest thriller that's going to be publishing in the month of January. And this is one that I literally cannot wait to read. I don't know too much about this premise-wise, but I do know the fact that we're following an author. So once again, you know, like I do love books that follow writers, and I think this one mostly takes place on an island where his wife disappeared. I think that's kind of the vibe of this one, which, you know, I do love Alice Feeney writing about islands, like Daisy Darker, hello, one of my favorites. So I cannot wait to check out this book soon, and ironically enough, this book is also a December Book of the Month pick, so you can get this one from Book of the Month in the month of December. How great is that? It's an early release from Book of the Month, like that is so cool. One book that I recently just got in the mail from Zibby Books is Pictures of You by Emma Gray, and this is another one that I am so looking forward to. This is a new romance book that I've been hearing great things about. My friend Jan actually just messaged me and said that she thinks that I would really love this, and I think she said it's her #1 favorite book of the year. So I'm like, wait, hold up, like what do you mean? And this one is a second chance romance, which does have me a little bit nervous to read it because I don't always love second chance romance, but the premise on this one just sounds so unique. It says we're following this character who should be grieving her dead husband, but since the car crash that claimed his life and landed her in the hospital, she can't remember him at all. And it says the only person who can help her is her high school best friend, Drew Kennedy. It sounds like it's gonna be so interesting and so unique, and I am planning to read this one actually very soon. And another arc that I'm so excited about that was sent to me by Tor is this one called But Not Too Bold. And this one is an ARC copy that I have. It's going on sale in February next year, and like I can't get over how amazing this cover is. It is so pink, and this little spider is just like, oh my god, it's so creepy. Okay, listen, the reason why I'm so excited for this book is because it's pitched as The Shape of Water meets Mexican Gothic. Like, I'm sorry, what? I love The Shape of Water. Like, The Shape of Water is like one of my favorite movies of all time, and it says that this is a sapphic monster romance novella wrapped in Gothic fantasy trappings. Like, oh my gosh, what? And it's sapphic, and it's pink. So you could say I am highly anticipating this book. Like, this is definitely one of my most anticipated of 2025. I cannot wait to read this one soon. Honestly, compare anything to Shape of Water and I'm like, okay, sign me up, I'm there. All right, next up, Berkeley Romance ended up sending me 2 of their recently published romance books. One of them is this one called Pickleballers, and I don't know why I thought this one would be so cute because I've recently entered my pickleball era, you know, because me and my dad have been playing pickleball a lot lately. So I thought that this would be fun to read at some point. Like, maybe I could even include it in a vlog someday where like me and my dad go play pickleball and then I read this romance book. Like, I don't know, I thought it'd be cute. But this one sounds adorable. It says a pickleball newbie, aka like me, looking to recover from life's swings and misses, crosses paddles with love in this debut romantic comedy. The love interest, his name in this book is Ethan. I feel like there's been so many Ethans lately in the romance books that I'm reading. Why is every male love interest named Ethan? Like, genuinely just curious. And then they also sent this one called Designs on You, and there's a little dog on the cover. Isn't it so cute? This one says, sparks fly when an interior designer and a game designer cross paths, but they must learn if they can design a happily ever after. Dude, that's so cute. I love that. Oh my god, an interior designer and a game designer. I love that they're both designers, but like in different ways. I think this one also has the single parent trope because it says we're following Natalie Parker, who's in her mid-30s. She's divorced and she's firmly focused on her newly resurrected career and her 2 children. Oh, and so she's helping her sister work on a new project, and her sister's dating this guy named Link, and he has this younger brother named Eugene Kennedy who's a video game designer. Okay, that sounds interesting. I am intrigued. Can I just say, I love this cover. Like, oh my gosh, the purples and the blues, it just really speaks to me. That's a really great color combination right there, so I'm very excited for this. I love the little dog on the cover, and the little dog is on the back of the cover too, just in case you were wondering. Like, how adorable. This ombre on the back of the book is giving. All right, next up, Penguin Random House ended up sending me a few different things. One of the things is It Will Only Hurt for a Moment by Delilah S. Dawson, which this is a new horror novel that I am so excited about because Delilah S. Dawson is the author of Guillotine as well as Bloom. I don't know, she's written a few horror things that I've read. Some of them I've liked, some of them I haven't, but this one sounds like it's gonna be incredible, and I really love this cover, by the way. I know I'm so shallow. I have to point out every time that I love the cover. I'm sorry. This one just says, a young woman hopes to reinvent herself and find her muse at an isolated artist colony, only to be drawn into its dark, twisted past. This just sounds so interesting because I love horror books that take place in this kind of setting where they're at a place that's kind of like isolated, and it says that this secluded artist colony is on the grounds of a closed hotel. But then, like, it sounds like some weird things start happening while she's there because it says when she uncovers the body of a young woman while digging a hole, things start to fall apart. Her fellow artists begin to act in troubling ways. I think it's one of those stories where she's trying to figure out if something more sinister is going on or if she's starting to lose her own grip on reality, which is something that I do tend to love in horror books. This one's a little bit longer though. This one's almost like 350 pages. I don't think I've ever read anything quite this long from Delilah S. Dawson yet, so hopefully this one is a win. Also ended up sending me a copy of Fang Fiction, which this is a book that I did end up reading in October, and unfortunately I wasn't the biggest fan of this one personally, so I'm probably going to be passing on this copy. But this one, the idea of it sounded so fun because you're following this world where like this girl is a huge reader and she loves these vampire books, but it turns out the vampires in the books might not be as fictional as she first thought that they were. And this is a book about how like the vampires are coming into the real world and she's trying to help them get back to their world kind of thing. I thought it was interesting, but for me it was just a little bit too long, and I didn't really care for the direction that this book ended up going in, so I'm probably gonna pass this one on to a friend who will really enjoy this. And then they also ended up sending me a copy of Dirty Diana, which this is one that I'm so excited to read. I'm actually planning to read this one very soon as well. I don't really know too much about this one premise-wise, but it does say that it's a provocative novel about being caught between marriage and memories of a more sensual past. And it says that this is the first of a 3-part series based on the #1 fiction podcast. So apparently this is based off of some podcast. I don't really know. There's even a blurb on the back from Demi Moore, which I think is pretty interesting. This one's also pretty short. It's only about 250 pages, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one very soon. And then Penguin Random House also sent this cute Cherry Blossoms After Winter. I think this one is a manhwa, because I think it might be Korean because it's all in color. It almost looks like a graphic novel. It says it's based off of a web comic called Cherry Blossoms After Winter, and it says despite growing up together, these childhood friends have grown apart. And I think it's about friendship, and it looks so cute. Oh my gosh. And I'm always down to check out things like this that have been adapted from a web comic. I find that they tend to be so good. And then look at how cool this is. I'm so excited that Random House ended up sending me this book called Invisible Strings, and it says 113 poets respond to the songs of Taylor Swift. And like, look at how cute this cover is. There's all these stars. And I did not fail to notice that all of the stars are like the different colors of the Taylor Swift eras, like the details. And on the back it says, let the decoding begin. So I haven't really had a chance to like really look into this yet, but it's really cool when you flip through. There's just a ton of different poems. And I guess they're all supposed to be like related to Taylor Swift or her music or her songs or her lyrics. Like, I'm not really sure what to expect with this, but I saw this and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. You know, as a huge Swiftie, it's things like this that really excite me. You know, like, I'm really into this. That's really cool and very on brand that they got 113 poets to contribute something to this collection. Like, that's amazing. All right, and then next up, Bantam ended up sending me a few exciting things. One of those things is Society of Lies by Lauren Ling Brown, which this could not be more perfect because I was actually going to be reading this book in the month of December anyways because of the Reese Witherspoon book club series that I'm working on, because this was actually one of Reese's book club picks in October. And so this is one that I'm going to be reading very soon. This story is about these two sisters who both get involved in this like secret society at this college. We follow the two sisters in two different timelines because there's quite a big age gap between them, I'm pretty sure. So one of the sisters, her name is Maya, and it says that she's returned to Princeton for her college reunion, and it's been a decade since she graduated. And then she's also there for the graduation of her younger sister, Naomi. Then they find out that Naomi is dead the weekend that she's there. So then it kind of becomes a story of how she's like looking into what might have happened and like why she ended up dying. So this is one that I will be reading very soon. It's actually the next video that's gonna go up after this one, hopefully, will be the Reese Witherspoon vlog. And then they also ended up sending me an arc of You Are Fatally Invited, and this one goes on sale February 11th next year, and I'm so excited because this thriller sounds so interesting. The premise of this one just sounds so fun because it says an exclusive thriller writers retreat hosted on a private island turns lethal when one of the authors is found murdered in this twisty locked room mystery. Does that not sound like it just checks every box for me? A thriller writers retreat on a private island? That sounds so much fun. Like I just mentioned, I love books that follow writers. I love books that take place on islands. This one should be a fun time. It looks great. They also ended up sending me a copy of Where They Last Saw Her by Marcy R. Rendon. And this one is a new release thriller that also sounds very interesting. It says that this one is a compelling novel of a Native American woman who learns of the disappearance of one of her own and decides enough is enough. And this story is about these different women that are disappearing on the reservation where this character lives. And it says this novel asks the searing questions about bystander culture, the reverberations of even one act of crime, and the long-lasting trauma of being considered invisible. This one sounds like it's gonna be really hard-hitting, and I've seen so many of my friends reading this recently and loving it, so I can't wait to check it out. Right, and then Atria ended up sending me 3 books that I'm so excited about. One of them is this book called Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austin, and this one is actually more of a backlist title. I think this one published a few years ago now. This is the same author as Interesting Facts About Space, and after I loved this one as much as I did, I really wanted to check out some more books from this author. I thought that this one would be a good one to check out because something that I loved about Interesting Facts About Space was the main character. Like, I thought she was such a great character, and I loved the dark humor that was used throughout this book, and I feel like this one I've heard similar things about, so I thought I might as well check it out. I also ended up getting an ARC copy of The Other People by C.B. Everett, and this one is going on sale in March 2025. This one also just sounds like it's gonna be so interesting and so weird. It says a group of strangers gathered at a mysterious country house are in a race against time to stop a serial killer in this twisty high-concept thriller with shades of Agatha Christie and Shutter Island. Oh gosh, you know when something compares itself to Agatha Christie that it's either gonna be a hit or a miss. And so I'm really hoping that this one's gonna be a win because it sounds so unique. It says 10 strangers, an old dark house, a killer picking them off one by one, and a missing girl who's running out of time. I think it's the element of like time that's so fascinating about this. Like, what do you mean? And then the other book that Atria ended up sending is this romance called Only in Your Dreams. I don't know why I keep wanting to say only in your wildest dreams, but it's Only in Your Dreams by Ellie K. Wilde. Okay, maybe that's why, because the author's last name is Wilde, so it's just all throwing me off. But this one is a romance that is publishing in January on the 21st next month. It says we're following this character named Melody Woods, and she's back in her small hometown of Oakwood Bay after she got dumped by her big city boyfriend. And then the love interest in this book is the college football coach, Zach Porter, and he's actually best friends with her brother. I don't always love the trope of like my brother's best friend in a romance, but this one does sound like it's gonna be cute. And I love the idea of following a football coach. Like, how cute is that? All right, and then St. Martin's Press ended up sending me 2 of their recent titles. One of them is A Legend in the Baking by Jamie Wesley, and this is a romance that I'm so excited about because I actually read the other book from this author, Fake It Till You Bake It, and I thought that that one was super adorable. And I love these titles that are like baking puns. I think they're just so cute. It says, good things come to those who bake. Like, is that not adorable? I think in this romance, we might actually be following characters who we knew about in the first book. Like, I don't know, I'm gonna need a refresher on that because we're following the character August Hodges, and he was on the show Sugar Blitz Cupcakes. Then it says we follow social media manager Sloane Dell. So I think in this book we must be following the sister of the last male love interest from the other book. Either way, it sounds so cute and I'm so excited to check it out. And then they also sent a copy of All the Water in the World, and this one's also an ARC copy that goes on sale January 28th. This one just sounds so intriguing because it says, in the tradition of Station 11, All the Water in the World offers the hope that what matters most, love and work, community and knowledge, will survive. So like comparing anything to Station 11 sounds like a great sign to me, like I'm here. It says, in the years after the glaciers melt, Noni, her older sister, her parents, and their researcher friends have stayed behind in an almost deserted New York City. So it's kind of about what happens after the world ends, essentially, which makes sense why it would be compared to Station 11. Just sounds so interesting. Like, I can't even imagine reading about a world where, like, New York City is completely deserted. Like, that sounds so fascinating. And then my lovely friend Casey was so kind enough to send me a copy of The Life Impossible by Matt Haig, which this is a book that I am really looking forward to. I am such a huge fan of Matt Haig. I did try to read this one, actually, in the month of November, and I ended up DNFing it pretty early on, but I think it was mostly because like I wasn't really in the right headspace to be reading this book at the time that I was picking it up, because this feels like it's going to be one of those books that's like really heavy and really emotional, and I just didn't know if I was ready for that. But I do plan to get back into this one eventually, and it just sounds like it's going to be very beautiful and very hard-hitting. Matt Haig books usually are, so I'm really looking forward to it. I usually do like to include a bit of a library haul whenever I do my book hauls, because I'm always trying to push for like the use of your local library, because your local library has so much to offer, most likely. But this time around, I only have one book right now checked out for my library, and that is actually You Like It Darker by Stephen King. I actually just picked this up today for my library, and I'm so excited about it because I've had this on hold for like months now, and it finally came through. I'm just hoping that I can actually get to this in time before the end of the year. But this one is, you know, the newest book from Stephen King. It's his short story collection, and this book is massive. It's about 500 pages, but I've been really looking forward to it. Also, do you know how long it took me to realize that this is like an alligator or like a crocodile on the front cover, and then it goes onto the back, like that's the back of it? Like, what? And then some of the books that I have bought recently include this that I saw at my library today. So my library had this for like literally $3. They have this little section where you can literally just put money into like this little bin. It's kind of like one of those things where they just like trust you to pay for it, you know, you just like leave money in the little dispenser thing. But like, look at how cool. They had the Paper Palace for only $3. So I decided to grab a copy because this is one that I've been hearing about for such a long time. I actually got recommended this book a few times when I was gonna do that video where I was trying to read books that you thought that I was gonna give 5 stars. This one got mentioned, so I was very intrigued. I don't really know much about this premise-wise, but because I saw it there for only $3, I was like, okay, like why not? Just pick it up. And then some other books that I've hauled recently include Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. I actually bought this one while I was in Chicago, and I did read this one in October, and sadly I wasn't a huge fan, so I'm probably gonna be getting rid of this one, which is so unfortunate because this book is beautiful and I wanted it on my bookshelves forever. But sadly, I just wasn't the biggest fan of this. But at least I get to keep the cool bookmark that I got in Chicago. That's amazing. And then also when I went to one of my local bookstores where they have like the ARC copies available at that bookstore, I ended up getting these ARC copies of Such a Bad Influence, which is a thriller that I'm really interested in reading. And then also this one called Exposure, which this is more of like a literary fiction novel that also sounds very interesting. They both have pink on the cover, which is also very cool. And then at that bookstore, I also was able to get a copy of Smother Moss. I found this one on the discount shelf and it was only $10, which is always a huge win. But this one takes place in the 1980s. We follow these 2 different sisters. And I think that this one's more of like a gothic horror type of book from what I remember. It says, when the brutal murder of 2 female hikers on the nearby trail stuns their small community, the sisters find themselves in a dangerous game of cat and mouse. It just sounds like it could be something that's like right up my alley, so I can't wait to check it out. And then lastly, I recently ended up buying a copy of Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. Julie Soto is the same author as Forget Me Not, which is one of my favorite romances that I've read this year. And so I just really assumed that I was gonna love this one too and give it 5 stars, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. I ended up giving this one around like 3 stars. I thought it was just okay. And so I'm probably gonna be unhauling this one as well, unfortunately. And I still did enjoy this one. It just wasn't as great as I was hoping that it would be. All right, and now for the moment that you've been waiting for. Let's get into the Kindle unboxing. Hello, it is me from the past. It is late November as I'm filming this, but I'm here to unbox my first ever Kindle Kindle Paperwhite. I've been talking about getting a Kindle for like about 2 years now, and for a while I wasn't sure if I was even the kind of person that would want a Kindle because, you know, if you know me and my reading taste, I actually don't read a lot of books as ebooks or like digitally. I mean, the primary way that I'm reading books these days is either through, you know, audiobooks. Like I'm a huge audiobook person these days, and I also do read a lot of books physically, but it's been a long time since I've read books digitally on an e-reader. I actually did go through a phase where I was reading a lot of ebooks when I was first kind of getting back into reading. Like I want to say around like 2016, 2017, I was reading so many books on my phone. It used to be quite the big e-reader, but then I don't know what changed, but I became so much more dependent on audiobooks and I was doing so much more physical reading that I just really fell out of love with e-reading. And so for a long time, I was always like, I don't even think a Kindle is something that I would even really want or really use. But recently, I don't know, I've just had this strong desire, like I want to get back into e-reading, and I finally just decided to go for it and get it. I mean, especially because Kindle Paperwhite, you know, like they just released a new version, like a 2024 version of Kindles, and so I felt like that was like a sign to me that like it was like now my time to pick one up. And I was gonna consider getting the Color Soft, but I decided not to because the Color Soft is like getting some really bad reviews. Like I don't know if you've been seeing the things going around that people are saying about this Color Soft, but like a ton of them are getting recalled and things like that because apparently there's like really bad like yellow glare at the bottom of the screen and like all that kind of stuff. And honestly, like the Color Soft, while I do like the idea of being able to like highlight in color and like seeing the book images in color, like I think that would be cool, but it's also like not really worth the price for me because I just ended up buying this Kindle Paperwhite, and I think this one, the market value price is like $160, whereas the Color Soft, the market price is like $280. Like I'm sorry, but I don't think the color is like worth that big of a price jump just for me. I also ended up waiting until the Black Friday sale to get this one, and even though the sale wasn't that good, I think it was only 10% off or something, so I got it for about $130. But I'm still glad that I waited to get this one when it was on sale. And this is like my first ever Kindle Paperwhite. Like I'm so excited for this moment. I decided to get mine in the standard black, and this one says it's the Generation 12 16 gigabyte Kindle. So let's just go ahead and unbox it. I did also decide to get the Kindle Unlimited free for 3 months. So from now up until like late February, I will have access to Kindle Unlimited, which should be fun to explore. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna peel off the backing. Ah, this is real. Oh, wow. Ooh, okay. This is what the little back thing says. We have a moment where she's covered peely on the back. I'm gonna peel it off. Ooh, oh my god. Wow. That is sleek. Oh my gosh, okay, first of all, I love how light this feels in my hands. Like this is way lighter than I was anticipating that it would be. Also, I love the back. It feels like very soft. Okay, so if I click power on, is it just gonna power on? Oh, she's on. What should I name her? I also do still have to get a case, and I have to get a pop socket because I know everybody holds these with a pop socket, and that looks way easier than trying to just like hold this, even though it is about like the size of my hand. Like I can comfortably hold this like this. So it has been about a week or like a week and a half since I first filmed the unboxing, and so I've been using this thing for about a week and a half now, and it has been so fantastic. For some reason, reading on the Kindle, I feel like it's making me like fall back in love with reading all over again, and for some reason it makes me feel like I'm like a faster reader because I'm reading on the Kindle. I don't know how to explain that feeling, but it's a great feeling. And I've already been reading a few different things on the Kindle, so I thought I would show you what I've hauled on my Kindle recently with like Kindle Unlimited. So some of the books that I've downloaded from Kindle Unlimited recently include The Snowball Effect by Haley Cass. This is a romance that I'm so excited about because it's from the same author as On the Same Page, which is probably like my favorite romance that I've read this year. And then Haley Cass also has another romance novella called The Next Chapters, which I also had to download because I think that this novella follows the same characters from On the Same Page, and it's a novella that's either like a prequel or a sequel. I don't really know, but it follows the same characters, and I'm like, that is so cute. Also on Kindle Unlimited, I was so surprised to see Rotten Tommy by David Sodergren is available on Kindle Unlimited, so I had to download that one because I'm just really looking forward to reading more books from David Sodergren. I feel like he's quickly becoming one of my favorite horror authors. One of the other books that I decided to download on the Kindle is Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy. This one's not on Kindle Unlimited, but I think it was only like $3.99 in the Kindle store or something like that, so it was really cheap to get. But this is a horror novella that I've been really excited about because Nat Cassidy is the author of Nestlings, which is like one of my favorite horror books that I read a few years ago. So I'm really looking forward to reading Rest Stop soon. Also, as far as like romances go that are on Kindle Unlimited, I did notice that Flawless by Elsie Silver as well as Heartless by Elsie Silver are on Kindle Unlimited. So I haven't decided fully if I want to read those yet, but I did end up downloading Flawless just to like give it a shot maybe. Like I don't know if it'll really be my thing or not, but I feel like ever since I got the Kindle, like I've just been in a really big romance mood because there is so much incredible romance that's available through Kindle Unlimited. So it's really just made me want to read all of the romance. And I've really just been loving that. Like I've been reading on my Kindle every single night before bed, just trying to read like 100 pages of like a romance book. And it's been a really great time. I also love the fact that when you read a book on Kindle Unlimited, like something that I didn't know is like I love how they have this feature where you can see what other readers have highlighted. It'll like show you under the text like where other people have highlighted stuff, and it'll say like 2,000 other users highlighted this part or something, and I'm like, that is so cool. It just makes me feel like I'm like reading fan fiction or like reading with a community or something, you know, like it's very fun that way. So I am just absolutely loving the Kindle so far, and I would love to know if you have any recommendations for stuff that is on Kindle Unlimited that you think that I would like. I would appreciate any recommendations because I feel like the Kindle Unlimited store is kind of hard to navigate. I've heard that it's a lot more harder to navigate the Kindle store on the actual Kindle, and it's a lot easier to do on your phone on the Kindle app, so maybe that's the case. But I did notice they do also have a lot of like Frida McFadden thrillers available on Kindle Unlimited, even though I don't really know if I have a lot of interest in reading those. I mean, maybe her newer one, The Boyfriend, maybe if anything, maybe I'll read that one. I don't really know, but you'll have to let me know what you have on your Kindle and what's available on Kindle Unlimited that you really enjoy, because I'm really excited to explore more with that. And I would also love to know if you would ever like to see me do content, you know, just with the Kindle in the future, because I was thinking of maybe in 2025, maybe I could do a video where I like only read on the Kindle for a whole week and then kind of talk about the difference between reading on a Kindle versus reading physically, because since I've never really had an e-reader before, I'm only now starting to understand the benefits of reading on an e-reader. So maybe I can do a video like that in the future if that's something you're interested in hearing about, like the differences between reading on an e-reader versus reading a physical book and which one I prefer and stuff like that, like maybe a discussion video on the Kindle after I've had it for a few months. You'll have to let me know if that's something you're intrigued by. But yeah, so far it's been a really great time. Like 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm having a fun time with it. All right, those are all of the books that I have hauled recently on the Kindle and physical books. It's been a lot over here and I'm really enjoying it. Also, oh my gosh, I didn't even mention, did you see the Winterween merch came in? And it's so beautiful. This is on the military green crew neck and I am loving this crew neck. It's also just like the perfect size. I just love the way that it fits. And this design, oh my gosh, my sister absolutely crushed it. Like it is so freaking cute. And so I am cozy and all ready for Winterween, which is just coming up in like a few weeks now. Winterween is going to be happening next month. Like I can't believe it's coming up so fast. If you are wondering, Winterween merch is still available. I will have the links down below if you want to go and check it out. And thank you so much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye.